900 KDAK, Carrington, and FM 100.1, K261EW, Carrington. Locally owned and operated by I3G Media.
It's time to find out what's going on in Carrington Cardinals athletics on the Carrington Coaches Show on KDAK The Cardinal and the KDAK The Cardinal YouTube page. The Carrington Coaches Show takes you behind the scenes of all things Cardinal athletics. Now, live from the Prairie Inn in Carrington, here is BJ Walters.
Certainly a warmer place than outside is tonight. My goodness, we are indeed live from Prairie Inn Restaurant and Bakery, the Carrington Coaches Show tonight on KDAK, the Cardinal, part of a big night with boys basketball coming up. Coming up on this show, we will have Josh Kerball previewing the big Storehouse tournament, which we'll be able to hear both days of that. Plus, we'll preview the Triangular Thursday night with Pembina County North and Northern Lights. We'll get a preview of all of that with Coach Kerball. We will be joined by a fantastic girls wrestler. Jasmine Ibarra is having a wonderful season, and she's coming up in just a little while. Of course, if we're at Prairie Inn, that means there's specials. 222 breakfast special, 2 small pancakes, 2 strips of bacon, and 2 sausage links. The sandwich special, breaded buffalo chicken burger served with fries or a cup of soup. And the evening special, a 12-ounce ribeye with Parmesan peppercorn butter. And that is a dinner with a choice of potato, dinner roll or toast, and dinner salad or a cup of soup. Well, it's been a little while since the Carrington girls have played a basketball game. It's been since Tuesday, in fact, at Four Winds, Minnewacan. And that means that if you're watching us on YouTube, the gentleman sitting to my left has had some time in the lab with his team, and that is head coach Andy Broughton. And, Coach, I know you were telling us that time is sometimes filled with a makeup game from the weather or whatnot, but I got to think it was nice to just get in the lab and get some work in.
Yeah, we went hard on Wednesday and Thursday, and we gave them Friday off, which was pretty good planning on our part since the weather came up and all practices were canceled on Friday. So we got our fair share of conditioning and some sets in on last Wednesday and Thursday. So
Your
back to
last
practice today. Yep.
Your last game was that Four Winds Minnewacan game. Really tick for tack first half, and then I mean after halftime, your team just they continue to be able after halftime and second halves to just completely shut people down.
Well, we kind of pride ourselves on the defensive end and having some depth to run some players, and we fought some foul trouble late in that first half when Eden and Isabel were both sitting beside me, and that's a good portion of our defensive presence right there. And but the other kids stepped up, and I think we had a 4-point deficit, but we got it tied by halftime without our two senior co-captains there. So kudos to our other players to do that.
So you look at that second half, and that it has been a trend over this season. How different is defense from your perspective, first half and second half? First half, your defense is right next to your bench. You can communicate. Second half, seems to me that it's kind of on the players to communicate with each other because it's tougher for you guys being across the court from them.
Right, and there's not a lot of hollering going on to on the other end, but they get in their positions fairly well, and we didn't change too many things up. We had to guard the perimeter, and we had to have those sharp closeouts, those quick closeouts up to the perimeter and make them bounce and try to finish at the rim a little bit more, and we did a good job of that. And like I said, we're fresh and was able to rotate 8, 9 pretty solid, and kids did a good job.
That's the other thing that, goes with any good defensive performance, right? You play good defense for 30 seconds of a shot clock. You have to finish with the rebound. And there were not many second chance opportunities for the Indians on Tuesday.
Yeah, and when you shoot it from long, those rebounds come off a long way, so it does test your box out ability and chase down long rebounds ability. But then we did get them some couple shot clock violations too. So playing for solid 35 seconds and not getting them a shot up is just kudos, and we got to continue that defensive presence because going forward, that's going to be a big key.
We talk about your depth a lot, and a perfect example of it is the fact that Bryn has had to start the last couple of games because Mara rolled her ankle. The good thing is she's back to practicing and taking part in games, but there seems to be no noticeable difference, be it Bryn, which means you go a little smaller because Mara's a 6 footer down there. But uh, aside from the obvious Bryn's 5'6", Mara's 6 foot, there doesn't seem to be a lot of difference there.
If you're a good basketball player and you know how to rebound and defend, pass and shoot, if you bring those skills, you can blend in with almost anything and things don't stay, um, you know, stagnant on the offensive end because you're used to moving the ball. And if we have good passers, and if we continue to move the ball, you're going to get a good look. And Bryn got some good looks, and credit her teammates for finding her.
So you look at your season now. You're 12 games in. You're 11-1 on a 7-game winning streak. In comparison to years past, are you pretty much where you typically are? Maybe a little ahead, maybe catching up a little bit. How would you assess that?
Don't. You just every team's different, and every chemistry bunch is different, and you graduate some seniors, and you try to blend in the next group of kids. And you kind of get some things done in the summer as far as getting some team camps, getting their team chemistry down, and then as the season progresses, hey, this lineup fits against this team better. And but our talent this year helps us to match up better. Some teams you don't. You just have to go with five best players or five players that fit together the best. But this year we're able to go deeper, look at matchups, and go from there.
So this week, let's start with tomorrow night because this is a very unique challenge in that Northern Cass brings one of the better players in the state, Hayden Crockett, over here. I can't wait to see the matchup with Isabel Wendell and Hayden Crockett because Isabel's such a good defender. Hayden's such a good, offensive threat. There have been some uh, teams that have basically said, let Hayden Crockett get hers and see if we can shut everyone else down. There's been other teams that have said, no, we don't want Hayden Crockett to get hers. I'm sure if you asked 100 different coaches, you'd get 100 different answers. But when you face a player like that, what's sort of your philosophy?
Um, you know, you try to make her tired. You know, um, she's got to do a lot for the team, and if you do get a little bit tired, then the shots don't drop as well. Um, so we can run some different defenses at her, but comes down to stopping the ball, hands up, making a tough shot. I mean, she's going to make some shots. She's that good, and rebound the ball and put pressure on the other end. Um, have a little patience on offense to where they have to play a little bit more defense, and then on the defensive end, help and recover, shell drill. If they ball screen, try to get over the top. Um, so comes down to the basics, and then getting on the floor and getting the rebounds.
I thought that was something that Valley City did against them pretty well on Thursday. There were one or two transition opportunities, but Hayden's really good in the open floor, and they didn't really let that happen too much.
Yeah, she knows how to leak out on the shots that we throw up. She knows to get out on the fast break real quick, and um, then we've got to really be disciplined in our help defense because if you help just a little, she will draw the fall. So when you help out, you have to be a wall, and then we have to have help the helper on the weak side. And then it becomes a little bit of scramble mode, but we've done that before too. But so if you're going to help out on somebody like that, you better help well and get in front of the ball. Because if you get on the side of the ball, she's going to get some contact and get to the rim and draw falls.
That's another thing that is so underrated about her game, her ability to do just that, draw fouls. Defensively against Valley City, they played a 2-3, but that might have been matchup specific because of Katie Burchell. What do you expect to see tomorrow, or do you know what you might see?
No, we don't. We prepare for both, and all year long you kind of prepare for both. We can tell them, well, they play man most of the time, but last time out against Valley, they played zone. So we did reps of both zone offense and man offense today in practice. So our our kids know what to expect.
And then Thursday night, you'll be in Grafton. You'll be able to hear that game on Thunder 98.3 on Thursday. You played them here. Typical good defensive game. They had the one girl get into double figures in scoring, but what sort of things did you learn about Grafton that you can use this time?
Our full court pressure did cause some havoc. We have to continue to do that. I'm sure they'll break pressure. They'll probably be working on pressure. Might see a little different breaker from them, maybe a 1-4 high or something. But um, just continue to push the pace. They would probably rather slow it down. Even Northern Cass tomorrow probably rather slow it down. Last week, four wins would rather slow it down. We want to pick up the pace, use our depth, use our offensive skills, be quick. We don't be in a hurry and take good shots. But if we can push the pace, we feel to our advantage.
Very good John Wooden quote right there. Be quick, but don't hurry back in the day. So we'll wrap up with this. I mean, you're 12 games into the season. The schedule is about to become a lot of fun with, state ranked team after state ranked team after state ranked team. But are you having a lot of fun this season? It seems like you're having a lot of fun this season.
I have fun every season. Most of these kids have gone through the program, from 5th and 6th grade. I get to coach them then, and we try to make everything fun for them. It's a high school sport. We take it serious. We work hard. We want to get the W, but overall, should be an enjoyable experience. And win or lose, you have a gracious attitude about having the opportunity to play.
It is the Northern Cass Jaguars from Region 1 in here tomorrow, 6:45 airtime right here on KDAK, the Cardinal. Coach, thanks so much for stopping by.
Yep, you're welcome.
The head coach of Carrington girls basketball, Andy Broughton, joining us at Prairie Inn. When we come back, we'll have a student athlete join us as Jasmine Ibarra, who's having a phenomenal season, and I've got the numbers to back that claim up. We'll get to them when the Carrington Coaches Show continues in a moment.
There's no community like a Cenex community. That's why every Cenex store is proud to serve theirs by supporting local athletic teams, promoting the arts, and making sure each store is a place its neighbors can find what they need, catch up with their friends, and stay connected. It's also why we give back, helping to make the wonderful places we call home the best they can be. The store next door, powered locally at Cenex.
Visit your local Arrowwood Prairie Co-op in Carrington, Wimbledon, Cooperstown, and Sutton.
Carrington sports fans, want to stay on top of all the local action? Catch what you missed by checking out the Foster County Independent. From game-changing plays to memorable moments, we've got you covered with the most in-depth sports coverage in town. And don't miss our stunning photo galleries that capture every thrilling moment and winning smile. For the latest scores, stories, and stunning sports shots, grab your copy of the Foster County Independent today or visit us online at fosterconews.com.
Do you want to make sure homework time isn't spent on games and video streaming? Dakota Central can help. With Experience IQ, you set limits to ensure your kids aren't playing when they should be doing homework. With premium managed Wi-Fi from Dakota Central, you can create healthier internet habits for your children from the easy-to-use Command IQ app. Learn more about premium Wi-Fi and Experience IQ today at dakotacentral.com.
Effortlessly manage your farm fertility with Verify. Verify takes yield data directly from your combine and instantly generates variable rate fertility maps based on your nutritional goals. Whether it's building soil, balancing nutrition, or maintaining fertility. And with full integration with John Deere Operations Center, Verify can send recommendations directly to application equipment, no matter the color. For more information on Verify, talk to your hefty agronomist and keep your farm moving.
When you're thinking about insurance, think of Bickett Insurance. Bickett Insurance, through our partnership with Auto Owners Insurance, can take care of your farm, home, auto, business, or life insurance needs. The agents at Bickett Insurance have over 115 years of insurance experience, and we are from here, so we know how to design policies to protect the things important to you. Let Bickett Insurance give you a free proposal from Auto Owners Insurance or one of our many other partners. Give Bickett Insurance a call at 652-1775 today.
The Carrington Coaches Show rolling on at Prairie Inn Restaurant and Bakery. The daily special today, a smothered grilled chicken dinner. topped with green peppers, onions, mushrooms, and Swiss cheese, served with mashed potatoes, vegetables, and dinner roll or toast. Oh, my goodness gracious. I had dinner before the show tonight because I'm going to get over to the gym and watch the boys' basketball game afterward. Outstanding dinner. I'm stuffed. So come on out. When we're done at 7, they're not done. They're open until 9. So come on by and see us. Well, right now we're being joined by an individual with a record of 23-7 this year, 2 tournament championships, and just an awesome season going on. 250 match points. Well, there's a question that I'm going to have to get answered because I don't really know what that means. But Jasmine Ibarra is joining us, having a phenomenal season on the mats. Jasmine, thanks for joining us, and boy, congratulations to this
Thank
point.
you.
Take us through your season to this point. I mean, obviously the stats say you're doing pretty good. How would you assess your season?
Well, I think it's gone pretty well. I've stayed healthy for the most part, which is really important. It's a long season. I want to peak the right time, then in February. But there's definitely, still stuff to be done, and that's, what makes it fun. I don't really take a lot of breaks from wrestling, so once it's finally competition season, it's fun. So I've been having a good time.
So, okay, on that note, what is the off season like for a wrestler?
Well, it depends on the wrestler. But for me, last season, I took maybe like a 1 or 2 week break, and then I went right into freestyle, which is a little bit different. It's what they wrestle in the Olympics and what they wrestle in women's collegiate. And so I wrestled that all through the spring, and then I trained with Team North Dakota in June, and I went down to Tulsa for nationals. And then I took a little bit of like a month-long break, and then when school started, I asked a few of my wrestling friends, and I wrestled all through the preseason.
So you've won 2 tournament championships. You've gotten third in the Carrington tournament, fifth at the Border Brawl, and that was a rough weekend, quote unquote, for you. Fourth at the Rumble on the Red, fourth in the Bismarck Rotary. That's a lot of matches. So, kind of along the same lines, how does a wrestler stay conditioned for that many matches?
Oh, well, we have some pretty hard practices. Coach Pazernik and Coach Kovar definitely, push us to our limits so we can, keep that discipline through all our matches and not drop a match because of conditioning. And, even the tournaments, they help with your conditioning, having long matches, it really, I don't know. And keeping yourself fueled through the day really helps as well.
So, is it good or bad to, get first round pin, first round pin, first
Well,
round pin?
it's pretty fun, but I like to wrestle a lot, so I usually try to extend my matches and cut the girls and wrestle a little bit longer because I like to try different takedown, try new moves. So I don't usually have that many first round pins, but yeah, I don't know. It depends on the wrestler, whatever you want to do, I guess.
Jasmine Ibarra joining us from Carrington Girls Wrestling. So, what, without giving anything away to future opponents, I mean, what are some of your moves that you feel like are strengths of your game?
Well, I think especially this season I've become a lot more poised and I'm not just taking sloppy shots. Like I've really learned how to like set up my offense and if it's not working, transition to a different thing, I'm I have some pretty good ties, like from a Russian tie I'm really good and I don't know, like I think this season what's really changed me from last season is I'm not just so like, oh, I need to score, I need to score. Like I'll take my shot when the opportunity presents itself.
You've gotten 17 wins by fall, 4 by technical fall, 1 by, um, I'm going to guess that means majority decision,
Major decision.
major decision, and 1 by decision. So 145 team points. You've had 250 match points. All right, walk us through match points. How on earth are these
So
calculated?
a match point is like scoring a takedown. So when you take a girl down or getting off a bottom or holding a girl on her back, like you get a certain value points for all those things. And if you score 15 of them, you get a tech fall. So that's how like that's determined. And then a team point is if you pin the girl or tech fall the girl or win by decision, you get a certain amount of points towards the team score.
So we know about the great season that you're having, but talk to us a little bit about your teammates. You were telling us that you guys have someone who has beaten the pretty much the best Blue Jay wrestler they have down in Jamestown.
Mm. Yeah, Kendra Garcia is having a pretty good season. You know, she's back in the room and doing good. She beat Cadence Golding of Jamestown. She's a really tough wrestler at the Rotary. Kendall Kovar's put in a pretty good season together. She's, you know, solid every tournament placing. From our youngsters, I feel like an old lady saying that. um, Grace English is having a pretty good season. You know, at 100 pounds, she's just a seventh grader, but seems like every tournament she's stacking together multiple wins. Madalena's doing really good. You know, all through the lineup we're doing good. You know, like we have a lot of returners too, so that really helps.
So this last weekend you were going to go to Lisbon, but the weather just was not going to allow it. Was it nice to kind of have that particular weekend off because now it's kind of a sprint through the state tournament?
Yeah, I think it was really nice. I mean, I wanted to go. I love wrestling, but I think it's good for like the team to keep everyone healthy, give everyone just like a week off because we haven't had a weekend off since Christmas, and during Christmas we were practicing still, and we had the Rumble, so it was nice to have a weekend off.
What is Coach Pazdernik like? Because he comes on this show and he's just so knowledgeable and he's got, just this wealth of information, not just, on how to improve each of you individually, but on the grander scheme of how do we grow this sport in North Dakota. He seems like he would be exactly the kind of coach you would want.
Oh, yes, he's great. He's very knowledgeable in the room after matches. Like you can ask him a question and he usually will know how to help you with it. And he's very like encouraging during our conditioning. Like he's really great. And same thing with Coach Kip, you know. Kip like he's very knowledgeable. He kind of is like brings the jokes to the room. He like, keeps the mood light. It's good. They work really good together.
So you guys now going towards the state tournament, where are you guys at next?
We're going to rugby this weekend.
That's right, it's rugby.
Mhm.
Now, what's that meet like? Because rugby has a good wrestling tradition.
We've never gone, so I think it's a fairly decent sized tournament, but we've never gone to rugby. It's just a girls tournament, which is always like we always like that because don't have to share mats. It's nice.
What's it like going up against all of? Yes, in North Dakota, everything's one class, but
Mhm.
let's be honest, it's not one class
Yeah.
when you're wrestling someone from Minot. Let's
Yeah.
just be honest. We're Carrington, they're Minot,
Yeah.
for goodness sake. What is it like going up against those bigger schools for you individually?
Well, you know, all the Bismarck girls, all the Minot girls, they're all good. You know, you just have to know that going into the match, but they're all beatable. You know, none of them are untouchable. They've all lost. You know, well, yeah, they've all lost, so you can beat them all. And you know, I train with some of them through Team North Dakota, so like I know them personally. But it's definitely a confidence boost when you beat them, because you know, coming from a town of 2,000 people, wrestling a girl from Bismarck or Fargo, it's nice to beat them. So like, just you have to go into it like any other match.
Do you guys have specific rivals? I know every time we're talking wrestling around here, South Border comes up and teams like that. Do you guys have any rivals?
Um, you could say like Castleton, because the past 2 years we've been in the region dual finals with them. You know, that hasn't gone our way either year, but this year could be the year. Other than that, not really. Like I think each girl has a specific girl that they want to get, but
Who
team
is that for you?
Oh, I have a couple I probably shouldn't say.
All right. So you mentioned how this is a year-long thing for you. Are you looking towards maybe wrestling in college? The Olympics are here in 3 years. I mean, are these things that go through your mind?
Um, I I really did think about wrestling in college, but I got the opportunity to attend Dartmouth, which is an Ivy League
Oh
school,
my
and they
goodness.
don't have wrestling. Yeah, Dartmouth.
Wow.
Um, so I will not be wrestling in college, but I think I'm gonna still like continue to coach. I'll keep wrestling, but I definitely did think and was approached about wrestling in college.
Do you ever think about trying to make that Olympic team with the games in LA?
Yeah, I've definitely thought about it, but I have a long way to go to do that.
So, in the more short term, then, what are your goals for the rest of the season other than the kind of one? I want to win a state championship. What are some of your individual goals, and then also goals for your team?
Well, for our team at least, I want us to make it to state duels, so place in the top 4 at region duels, and I want us to bring 7 or 8 girls to state, like individually. And then I want to win regionals and I want to win state. But then aside from that, I want to get 100 takedowns this year because last year I had I think 84.
How many do you have right now?
I think like 60 some. So like around there.
You got plenty of opportunities to get there,
Yeah.
don't you? So, I mean, you're going to Dartmouth. What are you majoring in?
I'm planning on majoring in government, which is like basically political science, and then I have a minor in environmental studies because I
Oh
want to
my
be a
goodness.
lawyer.
I mean, my gosh, that is awfully impressive. You learn something new every week on this show. That is really, really impressive. Well, Jasmine, thanks for stopping by. Congratulations on a heck of a year so far, and best of luck the rest of the way.
Thank you for having me.
Jasmine Ybarra joining us here on the Carrington Coaches Show. What a year she's had. And she's going to Dartmouth. She's smarter than all of us and a better wrestler than all of us. Isn't that just perfect? The Carrington boys have an extremely busy schedule this week. So just the guy to talk to is Josh Kerbaugh, their head coach. We'll do that when the Carrington Coaches Show continues in a moment.
There's no community like a Cenex community. That's why every Cenex store is proud to serve theirs by supporting local athletic teams, promoting the arts, and making sure each store is a place its neighbors can find what they need, catch up with their friends, and stay connected. It's also why we give back, helping to make the wonderful places we call home the best they can be. The store next door, powered locally at Cenex.
Visit your local Arrowwood Prairie Co-op in Carrington, Wimbledon, Cooperstown, and Sutton.
Carrington sports fans want to stay on top of all the local action? Catch what you missed by checking out the Foster County Independent. From game-changing plays to memorable moments, we've got you covered with the most in-depth sports coverage in town. And don't miss our stunning photo galleries that capture every thrilling moment and winning smile. For the latest scores, stories, and stunning sports shots, grab your copy of the Foster County Independent today or visit us online at fosterconews.com.
Do you want to make sure homework time isn't spent on games and video streaming? Dakota Central can help. With Experience IQ, you set limits to ensure your kids aren't playing when they should be doing homework. With premium managed Wi-Fi from Dakota Central, you can create healthier internet habits for your children from the easy-to-use Command IQ app. Learn more about premium Wi-Fi and Experience IQ today at dakotacentral.com.
Effortlessly manage your farm fertility with Verify. Verify takes yield data directly from your combine and instantly generates variable rate fertility maps based on your nutritional goals. Whether it's building soil, balancing nutrition, or maintaining fertility. And with full integration with John Deere Operations Center, Verify can send recommendations directly to application equipment, no matter the color. For more information on Verify, talk to your hefty agronomist and keep your farm moving.
When you're thinking about insurance, think of Bickett Insurance. Bickett Insurance, through our partnership with Auto Owners Insurance, can take care of your farm, home, auto, business, or life insurance needs. The agents at Bickett Insurance have over 115 years of insurance experience, and we are from here, so we know how to design policies to protect the things important to you. Let Bickett Insurance give you a free proposal from Auto Owners Insurance or one of our many other partners. Give Bickett Insurance a call at 652-1775 today.
Carrington Coaches Show live from Prairie Inn Restaurant Bakery. We want to go ahead and let you know this will be our final segment. Basketball is motoring right along over at the East Gym. So coming up very shortly, Kyle Hewitt will join us from the gym and have the play-by-play story of Carrington and rugby. Can the Cardinals get to 8-3, or rather 9-3 on the season? We will find out. Well, here's a very busy guy if you're watching on YouTube. Next to me, the head coach of Carrington Boys Wrestling, Josh Kerbaugh. And, Coach, nobody likes all this horrifically cold weather, but you're probably thinking, you know what, better last weekend than this upcoming weekend, right?
Yeah, it's January is a struggle for every single team, so we just kind of push our way through and go where we're allowed to go. But yeah, there isn't too many seasons where you don't have something canceled, so you just gotta do your best.
That's right. So you guys have a very busy weekend But since last we spoke, you had a triangular, got a couple of wins against Hillsborough Central Valley and Mayport CG, and that Hillsborough Central Valley match was pretty close.
Yeah. Um, we lost the flip, so if you know what that means, if every time, if you're new to wrestling anyway, at the beginning of a duel, captains go out front and they shake and they flip a disc, and whoever wins the flip gets to choose if they want even or odd matches, and then whoever pick an odd match would be the first match of the duel, third, fifth, etc. And if you want odds, and you have to show your guy goes out first,
Ah,
and then
so it's kind of like hockey where you'd like to match up.
yeah, it's totally like a matchup game, so kind of a chess match. Maybe you got to bump a guy away to win the duel, or maybe you got to send a different guy out. It's just a if it can be dependent on the duel, it can really make a big difference. Basically, let's put it that way.
Sure. So, what stood out to you in that triangular with Mayport and Hillsborough?
Well, I think Hillsborough was tougher than Mayport was. Um, we had some young junior high guys have to go out there and wrestle some older guys, and the experience showed there. And some of our older guys actually got some forfeits. They're better, more experienced guys. So that doesn't, hopefully we'd rather have those guys wrestle someone else. And we got to see the Cliftons brothers back in the lineup for the first time in a duel, so that was nice to see.
Very good.
Um, in both duels, so that was excellent. And then some guys down to weight. Callan Garber's first time down to 172. So kind of spread our lineup a little bit more, and then hopefully we're just gonna keep getting a little bit better and a little bit better as we go on. So I think we're 4-0 in our region duels, and we have 2 losses, one to Oaks and one to Minot High. We lost by a point, so we're just kind of getting ready for this week because Pembina County is another region duel.
Yep.
And so is Northern Lights, and Northern Lights got second in duels last year, and they got fourth in individuals. So they're pretty good the last couple of years.
And of course, that's going to be here on KDAK the Cardinal. So you mentioned getting the Cliftons back.
Yep.
What does rust look like in wrestling when you're trying to shake that off the first time you get in a duel for the season?
It's probably more of your timing on your technique and stuff like that. That and your lungs. Those 2 things are probably the biggest. I mean, you can do all the shape cardio work you want to do without wrestling, and it's only going to put you so far. It's just not the same as using your whole body. The intensity. Yeah, you just need some mat time. Otherwise, to catch up just takes a little bit of time.
You almost, I guess, in that case, hope that you don't get a quick pin. You hope that you see a 3-round match or a 3-period match. That way, these guys can get in shape.
Yeah, definitely. That's the best way to get in shape is by live wrestling. So, and definitely in competitions harder than practice.
So this Thursday, it starts at 5. It's PCN, which is Pembina County North, and Northern Lights.
Yep.
You just told us a little bit about Northern Lights. What do you know about Pembina County North?
They're probably considered, they used to be called North Border. They're one of our bigger rivalries. So it's Pembina, Cavalier, and Walhalla. Okay, so and they got a pretty good tradition of wrestling for a long time. Um, they always have a lot of numbers, so they always can fill the weight. So yeah, that's the one challenge. It's a simple math, but they got that part figured out. But I think this one could be close. I think they had a pretty close duel with Hillsborough, and so did we. So we'll see how it goes on Thursday.
Should be interesting. And then the first of only 2 regular season tournaments left. It is the
Yep.
Big Storehouse tournament in Lisbon, and you were just showing me the list of teams. We'll have coverage right here on KDAK and on our sister station KDDR this weekend. This is a great field going down to Lisbon.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Bismarck, St. Mary's, Border West, Breckenridge, Wahpeton, us, Central Cass, Devils Lake, Edgerly, Elmdale, Colm, Grafton, Kindred, Lemoore, Linton, Lisbon, Mandan, Mayport, CG, Northern Cass, Pembina County, Oaks, Standing Rock, and Valley City. So you got a handful of Class A schools in there as well.
And you've got some schools that you've faced, and you've got a couple of schools that you haven't. It looks like
Right.
that Border West and Breckenridge Wappington, you
Wapton.
haven't seen too much of them.
No, we haven't seen them all year. And this will probably be the only time we do see them. So, yeah, once a year is when we run into those guys.
Sure. Now, as a coach, when you have faced teams like, Mayports in this event, do you hope to match up with some of the same guys just to see how far you guys have come along, or do you prefer avoiding those rematch type situations?
Well, I don't think you really avoid them, but you don't want to wrestle the same guy 10 times or anything like that. But
Sure.
it's not a big deal to do a couple, three, as long as hopefully we're the ones coming on top, coming out on top. But yeah, you definitely it's good. I'd prefer to see a big variety of competition. So definitely don't want to just wrestle your same people over and over again. Handful of schools. You want to broaden your base. And
Is
that's
this then the beginning of, you've got this in East West before postseason? Is this where you start to want to see guys honing in everything and sort of putting it all together for this stretch run?
for sure. Yep. I mean, there's a lot of things involved too with seeding for the state tournament too. So like some of these guys you might run that are in Class B North Dakota wrestling, we might not have ran into them until this weekend in Lisbon, or like you mentioned, East West the following week, and then that carries a lot of weight in your seed. So those matches are important, and you definitely want to be on all cylinders going into the regions and state.
One of the things that I've noticed with your team, and I think this has been the case ever since the beginning of the year, your lower weight classifications are having really good seasons. Sky Kramlik having a really good season, Drew Carr having a really good season. How pleased have you been with guys like that? And do you think that that is, at least right now, where the strength of your team is?
Well, I'd say a couple of those guys on the bottom for sure, and then we kind of have our young junior high guys, and then once we start getting the middle and upper, some more of our experienced guys that carry a little more, potential to get pins and stuff like that. That's always important. So, yeah, I'd say, our 114 class is probably light. We got a good, I mean, we'd have to bump a 107 pounder up there. And if he's wrestling a really tough kid, it's going to be hard. Or we could always put the younger 107 pounder at 107 and bump Sky Cromwell up to 14, which we'll probably end up having to do later on. But it all depends after weigh-ins when you see the weigh-in sheet and figure out what potential is.
So Thursday, we're with you at 4:50. Kyle is with you. I shouldn't say we.
Okay.
Kyle is with you right here on KDAK, the Cardinal. And then Friday and Saturday, it'll be a combination of Dennis, Kyle, and our buddy Ricky Clobbercamp down in Oaks bringing you coverage for that. Same thing next weekend in New Salem for the East West. We'll have all of our guys down there. If you were to pinpoint one thing that you want to see, particularly in the triangular on Thursday, what's the one thing you want to see from your team?
Wrestle hard for 7 or 6 minutes. I mean, no matter what happens, regroup. Don't let negative things affect you mentally. Bounce back and do your best to overcome, and just wrestle hard the whole time. Don't give in.
3 straight days of wrestling for some of these guys. How do you guys go about the conditioning part of this week, because that's a lot of wrestling.
Yeah, it's pretty common for us though. We always typically have Thursday night duels, Friday, Saturday tournaments. It's not unusual. We go do some morning workouts on top of the afternoon workouts. For sure once a week right now. Um, and all that stuff plays into it. So the more matches you get, the more conditioning you get, the more morning workouts in, the more conditioning you get, and the more live wrestling in practice, the more conditioning you get. So, and then you keep drilling your techniques over and over and over again.
You got any guys going to Dartmouth?
Not yet. No.
No, that's pretty cool. And
Yeah, totally.
I'm sure you guys, when you are in the same place, you watch the girls and cheer them on. And just as a coach, you must be awfully impressed by what Jasmine's doing this year.
Oh yeah, she's a good wrestler and she's works extremely hard. She's up there on the work ethic level that you need to be to accomplish your goals. And then you can tell she's also that way academically because it's not easy to get out of that school. So
Ooh, it is not. Well, Coach, we look forward to following you guys Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Thanks so much for
yep.
stopping by. All right, so here's what we're going to do. That was Carrington Boys Wrestling head coach Josh Kerbaugh. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to play our close. We're going to play a commercial, and on the backside of this commercial break, it's Carrington Boys basketball against the Rugby Panthers, and that is coming up from the East Gym. Thanks so much for joining us for the Carrington Coaches Show.
Thank you for joining us for the Carrington Coaches Show, live from the Prairie Inn in Carrington on KDAK The Cardinal and the KDAK The Cardinal YouTube page. If you missed this or any other Carrington Coaches Show, you can always go back and listen to the KDAK podcast page at newsdakota.com and on the KDAK The Cardinal YouTube page. The proceeding has been a presentation of I3G Media Sports.
There's no community like a Cenex community.